This is Connections, real people, real stories, real growth. I'm Christine Mantilla, and I believe the right connection can change everything. On Connections, I'm going to share with you the most talented, inspiring, and amazing people that I know. Connections. As we talk to author and safety submarine diver, like what? Stick to the end, find out who this special author is. This is Connections, real people, real stories, real growth.
Okay. Hey, Jesus.
There it
Literally moved it. Well, good times.
is.
Yeah.
Hi, I think it's been,
Hallelujah.
how long has it been since 2021?
Has it really been that long?
Yes.
You're right. I think it was closer to 21 because I hadn't done anything with the podcast yet. And that
Okay.
was early 22. Early 22 is when I started it. And then, yeah, that's crazy. Dang, has it been that long
So
already?
when were you in Mary's networking and
Hmm.
then you wrote the book or during?
I guess it would be during. I was kind of preliminary member, I guess. So I started the book writing late 2019, and I talked with one of my one of my oldest friends, Janae Broxton, and she's in the book business of selling books.
The kids writer, right? No?
What's that?
Or the,
No, she doesn't write. Well, she is in the process of writing a book right now, but she sells books. She used to sell books for called Usborne Books. And it's a British company, English company. Yeah, so the kids' books. I guess they are kids' books that she's selling, and I was like, hey, I'm looking at doing this and this. How? How? What do you know? She goes, well, I know a gal who knows an author who does this for a living. Let me connect you to Mary, who connect me to Patrick Snow, who is my book coach to get the books off the ground. And so that I kind of was in and out with Mary for 2-ish years.
Mhm.
But yeah, the same thing. Just couldn't really make the connection um, because of work schedules, family schedules. Like, oh, they have midday meetings. I'm at work. Oh, we have evening meetings. I have kids and family to do dinner stuff with, and it just never. Oh, we have Saturdays. Like we're busy doing soccer stuff. Like it
Family
just
stuff,
never
yeah.
family stuff. It never worked out. So I just kind of it's like, hey, I'm around, but I'm not going to attend meetings. So
Mm.
that's kind of how that happened. Yeah. So I think that was late 21, early 22. I was like, I can't do anymore. Yeah,
So you were
big
a
time.
part of the beginning of the book. What was it called? Where Patrick was doing those book coaching. He would get on and teach people how to write a book. So if you ever wanted to write a book, you
Oh,
get on this.
almost like a master class kind of a thing.
It was kind of like a master class and
Yeah.
walk you through all of it. And
So Patrick he has his own system in place because he writes nonfiction. And if you're a client of his, you get basically a huge swath of information and it breaks down everything need to know and how to do things, which is really great for someone who's brand new and trying to navigate this whole
Mhm.
publishing thing, especially if you're an indie publisher like myself. So it's hard to, you're like, what decision do I make? How do I do this? Where do I go? And it broke it down very nicely. The cool thing is once you've done it once or twice, it kind of, you know the system a lot better.
Mhm.
So the use of the coach kind of breaks off a little bit. So you don't need it. But I can't remember them doing, I don't think I attended any of those events because I would call him once a week and we do a phone call and he'd go, hey, how's it going? What's the process now? What's going on here? And so I'd basically call him if I need him. And it worked very nicely for the first book. Yeah, that was wonderful.
Oh, hey, I am with Ryan Oliver, author, Beasts of Men and Gods.
Yeah,
I
that's
even
my,
have,
my series. So the first book's Soldiers of Fire. So
yeah,
excellent.
there's more, right?
Yeah. There will be, I got a second one's in the works right now. I have it with my beta readers currently.
what are these? Are these the books?
Hmm. Those are the books that are in. I have titles for everything, and they're currently in work right now.
Very, very cool. So I have some
Yeah.
on this.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
so writer of short stories.
Hmm.
He is on
Yeah.
the board of directors of the Gig Harbor Literary Society, an instructor,
Yeah. I'm a
uh,
safety instructor. Yeah.
submarine base.
Hmm.
What is that?
A sub base. So
Yeah.
it's a naval base. A naval base. We basically take care of our mission at the Trident Reef facility. Bangor is to make sure the boats get in when they get in, they get maintained, and then they get kicked back up so they can go on patrol and maintain defense of the fleet. So my job is an instructor. I'm a safety instructor. I work inside the safety office, and I have all these certifications and trainings of like various safety programs. So
Mhm.
I train the workers who work on the boats in various attributes like respiratory protection, electrical safety, lockout, tagout, fall protection. We have about 25-ish programs that I help run, teach, and been doing that for about 3 years. But previous to that, I was on the boats working as an electrician for 6.5 years.
So civilian contractor or Navy?
So Department of the Navy. I was not in the Navy.
Civilian. Okay.
Civilian, I guess, civil
Contractor.
servant. Yeah, civil servant.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff. So I got
Cool.
to see some cool things.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay. And you hosted the Mighty Books
Hmm.
podcast, interviewed authors for over 3.5 years.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
many authors could that have been?
Well, I will have by when the final episode goes is is broadcasted in early June. It may come back in the future when things slow down, because life's just busy. 28 episodes will have aired. And I've had a couple repeat guests, which has been really cool because I get to kind of, go back and chit chat again with kind of friends now, which is kind of cool. I would say it's probably closer to 120, 17-ish. Let's just roundabout people I've talked to and connected to. So it was pretty neat. Pretty
Now, have
neat.
you read all their books?
Oh God, no. I
Okay.
started, so that's what I was funny is I when I first started this, I did once a month I would have someone on, and that gave me enough time to sit and read the books and then formulate all these questions, really get to know them. But as time goes on, like I really think I'd have a lot more fun pushing getting more people on, and I did. I met a lot of people. You get more exposure. The show got more exposure because there's more people seeing it and pushing it out there. And then it got to the point where it's like I'm doing 2 interviews a week.
Oh,
Yeah, there's no way I can sit and read 2 books and you know properly formulate questions that way. It became very organic, kind of. They came on, they talked about it almost just cold turkey. Tell me about your book. Let's talk about the process, talk about what inspired you and everything like that. So I probably started, I think I read intact fully about a dozen of the books, and I touched base on, oh God, dozens of
yeah.
them because they would send me free samples or what e-copies
Yeah.
or physical copy. I have a whole shelf of just physical copies of the books they sent me, which is pretty cool. I have no room though. I'm like, I got to stop taking physical copies because I had no room, but it was really cool. Yeah, I wish I could have read them all. Just no time with life being
Mhm.
life.
Now, are you a reader?
Yeah, I am a reader. I love to read, but oddly enough, with working and writing and podcasting and being a family man, like reading has been so low on my totem pole list lately. So I think with me kind of taking a step back from the podcast, I'll get back into reading again, which is what I want to do. That really inspires me to go write my own stories, and you get to see how style works and how different, how people formulate different problems and how people get out of those problems, and it just relaxes me too. Where very busy life, having some time to relax for a change. Reading is just one of those beautiful things. My wife is a huge reader. She'll read 2 books a weekend.
Oh my
Oh yeah.
goodness.
Oh yeah, she just cranks them out. She's insane. It's great. I'm like I envy that you can sit still and read
Yeah.
for for a few hours at a time. I'll read for like 30 minutes. Like I gotta go do something because I'm just so busy.
But
But
did she
yeah.
come back and give you like the Cliff Notes?
She reads more romance and
Okay.
like fantasy romance stuff, and it's not really my genre.
Okay.
I'll do more of the fantasy stuff, obviously, because I'm a fantasy writer. But we'll swap books every once in a while. I think you'll really like this, and so I'll read those. And then I'm finally getting back into reading now that my schedule's starting to not be as demanding, at least with the podcast, obviously. And
Hmm.
I'm now starting to read more, which is great. Actually, another one was, I think you'll probably ask about it, the Top Shelf Book Club.
Yep,
That
that was
was
what I was saying
that
next.
that was an effort, oddly enough, an effort for me to force myself to read more during this. So I was like, oh, let's add more work because that's just the kind of person I am. So I've been reading books with my sister, and then we go on and chit chat, and that's been fun. But we haven't been able to do a lot because I've been so busy with everything else. Yeah, it's been crazy.
Yeah, you guys ever thought about going on and reading them?
Was that?
Reading them for people to listen because everyone is so busy?
I don't,
Yeah,
maybe. I mean,
kind of
like,
out of the box.
as yeah, I mean, well, a lot of people have audiobooks, so they'll go on and you can, if you want to listen to the book, you can go to their wherever and read and listen to the books, which is great. And I've done audiobooks before. I don't know how many you have done. Are you an audiobook
I was
listener?
actually just gonna, yeah, because I am jealous of your wife and you.
Mm,
I can't sit still at all. And
yeah.
so I've done audiobooks.
Yeah, tinkering in the garage or something. But I tend to be doing active things like driving, and I kind of pay attention with driving. You can kind of go on autopilot with driving, but then I'm only in the car for 20, 30 minutes. Well, okay, pause that. What happened? Crud.
Oh man.
So yeah, I have a hard time with fiction audiobooks. I've made through a few and they've been great, but I really have to work at like listening to them. It sounds really strange, but for nonfiction, I'll click them on and just go and I'll absorb whatever I can. So yeah, the audiobooks are a great tool. Don't be wrong, and they're
Yeah.
wonderful. Yeah. I have a huge to be read shelf behind me, shoot, and list of things I want to read. So it's I'm hoping to kind of make a dent in that the remainder of the year.
So let's get
Yeah.
back to you, family
Sure.
man, children.
Yeah.
How old are
hmm
your kids?
They are 11 and 9. Just turned 11 and just turned 9. So two big boys starting to get big.
Oh, the
Yeah.
fun, busy age where they're eating a lot and you guys are doing a lot of running around.
Yeah, yeah. Right now it's a little on the slow side, which is cool. We're doing soccer for a while. Soccer season's obviously not in swing right now, but come August till basically December, we are nonstop going at the soccer field five to 6 days a week. Just going, yeah, it's a lot. So we'll see if we can be blessed with a better schedule where it's only 3 days a week. We'll see, but we have not been so blessed in previous years. But it's a good age. They still want to be around you, but they're more independent, so they're learning how to do things like cooking and helping out with the house. And they're goofy. They're always making weird, inappropriate jokes, which is great for my sense of humor. We're trying to
Yep.
gross my wife out all the time, and she's hard to gross out. Her dad was a submariner for 20 years, so he's
Oh,
he's
that's
got
funny.
all the dirty jokes, and it's a good time. We have a good laugh. We have a lot of fun.
That is so cool. That's like exactly what I'm going through right now. So yeah.
Yeah. Because you have a son, right?
14-year-old son. Yeah.
14,
And then I have a
yes.
22-year-old daughter. So
Oh,
my
dang.
friend, and then the inappropriate jokes were like, wait, is it just what is happening?
And it will stay there forever. Like they get to
Oh
about
my God.
13 or 14 and they stay that age. I mean, yes, we get bigger,
Oh my
but
Lord.
the brain kind of, yeah, the jokes never, yeah, get any less gross. It's just it's how it goes.
Great.
Yeah.
When did you, I mean, what age were you when you decided you wanted to write?
So that's kind of I guess it's not terribly a long story, but I would say I was like third grade. I started getting into it. So my younger son's age, he's in third grade now. He's 9, just turned 9. We had a author come to the school and do a presentation. And this is, of course, when we still had, the microfilm on top of the overhead projector, and he's
Yeah.
reading the book in front of 200, 300 kids. And
Oh,
yeah, yeah. And I know it was about like a dragon or something. It's really fuzzy. I just remember what the feeling was. It was really interesting that like you wrote this, you put like out of your own brain. This is so cool. And it wasn't just the assembly that was neat. It was afterwards. We all got back to our classrooms. It was like a 45-minute, assembly. And the rest of the day was, okay, guys, we're going to be working on your own stories the rest of the day. Like that's it. And so the author came around and did all these cool chats and talk about what he did and how he got the storybook and the pictures and all the cool things. And after that, I just thought it was fast. Like you have control over this whole world, like by yourself. You can decide whether this thing is black or white or red or blue, or if the thing flies or doesn't, or what, later on when you're getting to novels, lives or dies. I mean, something you're almost like playing God. It's kind of cool. You make your own stories, it's really fun. So then from there, it kind of blossomed over time, and I'd always tell just stories and oral stories a lot to friends and the kids when they got older. But I hit about, I don't know, 15, 16, and I just fell in love with the fantasy series, just fantasy in genre in general, both book and film. And then just ideas started sparking, and I'm like, I wonder if let me just try writing something down. And so I started writing. That's where actually Beasts of Men and Gods started. Was like I was 16, and it began way back when I'm like pouring down rain. Washington State is just notorious for its rain and wet, cold weather. So a lot of writers come from here. And so I started writing, and it's been kind of it's been an outlet ever since. I've just loved doing it forever and ever, and I haven't stopped. So the only thing that stopped me is just life being so busy. And now that it's hopefully I'm trying to take a step back and
Mhm.
focus, I can actually get back into it. I feel my best when I'm able to write something down, even for 20 minutes. I feel my best. I'm more centered that way. It's a very reflective experience, and it's just a fun creative outlet for me that I can do by myself, and it's cheap. And it's
Yeah.
cheap. Mostly, mostly cheap. So that's when I started. Yeah.
So this book started when you were 16.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to go through the process of getting it out? You
So,
put it down a bunch of
um,
times.
yeah, yeah. So I would say like actively working on it. So from 16 to when did I start up again? So 2019 is when I really got into high gear and started working on it again. So God, how old was I then? I was 30 when I started actively working back on it again. Between 15 and 30, 16 and 30, it was like, oh, I forgot I wrote a book. I'm trying to write a book. I would write a chapter and I leave it alone for 2 years. And then I'd pick it up again and write a chapter and leave it alone for 2 years. And so I had half of it written already when I picked it back up in 2019. And then from October 2019 to October 2020, the book was published. So a year to get it published, but I finished the first draft finally January of 2020. So 3 months of just dedicated writing almost every day for sometimes 6 to 8 hours a day, just working on it and trying to mesh it all. Because you're writing when you're 15 is a lot
Mhm.
different when you're writing in your 30s, and I had to upgrade one
Like
half
just
of the book.
reinvent over and over again.
Yeah, it took that part took a lot of reiterations, and I look back at it still, and I'm like, I could probably improve this. But yeah, I probably maybe in the future if I am sitting kind of the wells dry, maybe I'll go back and like revamp it a little bit and just improve some of the language, that kind of thing. But it took when I finally started moving about, I would say 4 months of solid work to get that done after the 15 years, of course.
This is like still alive. It's just always
Mhm.
alive and going. And
Yeah.
you
Yeah. It
gotta
just kept.
explain that to someone like me who's like
Mhm.
not a writer. I've like,
Mhm.
no, yeah,
It,
it's just so neat hearing you talk about it like that.
yeah. Oh, cool.
Reflective is
Thank
really
you.
beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, reflective is the word I've used, and it's gone through several iterations. I mean, I think I wrote 5 or 6 chapters, and I reread it. I'm like, this is trash. It wasn't. Yeah, yeah. When you do this and you have it in your mind, and it's just not going right. I started out really like almost like super, almost like sickly sweet. Like almost like Disney princess like
Okay.
story when I was real young. I'm like, this is not what I'm going for. It's not what I'm into. And so I trashed it and I restarted it, and I started a little more gritty, a little more harrowing to kind of grab the reader into it, and it grabbed me too. And that's when it progressed on. So it goes through a lot of reiterations, and a lot of writers do that. They'll write something, go, this is close, but not where I want to, and they'll just dump it and start again. It's not uncommon at all. Very, very common. Yeah. Hmm.
I would be like
Agreed.
tied to it. Like, oh, that's why I'm not a writer.
Yeah. Yeah, people have been tied to it, and sometimes to a fault, but
Yeah.
people
Okay.
admitted, yeah.
That
So
makes sense.
you have to know when to cut things. And the cool thing about writing though is if at least I'm learning this now more than ever, if you do some reiterations, and let's say your book does come out, those old reiterations, I don't have all those old ones because this is a old technology. It's gone now. You can pull those and show fans like, hey, this is what it was supposed to start out as, any thoughts or ideas. So it's kind of because you can bring when you build a reading community that
Hmm.
I'm trying to do now more than ever. That's the stuff I want to show is like kind of behind the scenes of the creative process that my mind goes into. Yeah,
And they can
definitely.
help you write that story.
They can, yeah. If you have an engaging fan base, you totally can. I've been reading just recently. I read First Thousand Copies by Tim Grohl. It's a very short, it's like almost a guide for authors on how to connect with your readers. And basically it's using newsletters and email. Those are the two big ones. Because apparently email is still alive and well. Like social media is great and all
Mhm.
for connecting or at least posting content, but it's not good for connecting with people directly. It's like because you have subscribed to me for as a reader, and now I'm sending you gifts going, hey, here's where this story is going. Here's a chapter of the next book. What do you guys think should happen? And you can take polls of people, oh, I like this going this going that way, and you can take that into consideration. Another author that I've talked to, Fatima Alabi, she's from England, actually she's from Nigeria, moved to England, and she has a good fan base with her readers. She writes romance, and she does this with her readers all the time, and they can kind of help her kind of push in one direction or another. She's in charge, obviously,
Yeah.
but she's even gotten ideas from readers like, oh, that's brilliant. And so she'll take that and she'll go, thank you for the suggestion. I'm going to use this. And that's the kind of stuff that you can do. Apparently that really makes a permanent fan for a lot of people when you do
Oh,
things like that. Yeah, pretty
you
cool.
inspired a book? Yeah. That
Yeah,
is
yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah, people inspire stories like, "Oh my God, that's so cool." It's really cool when you interact with people. It's more the quality over the quantity of people. It's more the quality of relationship you want to develop.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. I
Yeah,
love
it's fun.
that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's pretty cool. So I'm trying to do that. My newsletter base was very small at the beginning of the year. I'm now over 500 subscribers on the website, just from various activities and such. So it's been promoting very nicely. So pretty cool so far.
What are some of the things you do to meet these fans? Website, of course, email, but how do you find them? Do you go to readings? I mean, are there forums?
So I have not done to readings. You can go to readings locally. I have not done really any of those locally. I would love to do some more of that. When I first started off, it was during COVID, so there was a lot of you're not going anywhere. So I've kind of unfortunately kind of stayed in my little divot there. So what I've been using is a thing called BookFunnel. BookFunnel is a people use funnel sites all the time for various
Mhm.
business funnel sites. I'm sure you've heard of them
Yeah.
before. Yeah. So this one, what it is you create what you call a reader magnet. So a story or a piece of information. In my case, it was a short story, about 7,200 words, called The Task. It's based off of a little snippet of my novella, which is a prequel to The Soldiers of Fire you have in your hand there. It's the old man in the story. He's a seer, and it's him as a young kid all the way up to when he becomes, this general of the army he is, employed with. And there's a one line sentence in there about him and his buddy doing something incredibly stupid. I'm like, I wonder what the backstory was on that. So I expanded on it and I gave it, and it's just this little silly story that's based in the world that I write for. So it's a reader magnet, a free reader magnet that I offer people for free. And BookFunnel will set up these newsletter builders where basically they have these dozens and dozens of authors who have other newsletters and social media sites and everything. And they'll acquire those links with this huge list of books for giveaways. And then readers will see these free books and go, oh, I want that one. That one looks really interesting. And then to acquire that free book, you have to give an email. And then when you give the email, it gets sent to me, and I have to export this file of I've had as many as 60 people at once I've had to export and add to my list. And then they start receiving my emails. And if they're interested, they stay on. If they're not, they unsubscribe, which is totally cool. So then you can kind of filter in and out who wants to stay there and who isn't your audience or who is your audience. So it's a neat aspect. Some people make great subscribers and not so great readers and vice versa. So it's a good way to weed that out. So it's grown very much. Like I had 130 in January and I'm up to 515 right now. And it's only just the beginning of May. So pretty good progress for a short
Yeah.
amount of time. So that's one way to do it. That's the way I've been doing it lately. But another method I did a little more direct was literally asking everyone on my social media going, "Hey, would you be interested in this?" And per my surprise, I had about 200 people were like, "Yeah, sure, sign me up." I'm like, "Cool." So it took me like 2 weeks of sending emails or not emails, but messages via Messenger and got them back, and it was all personal, handwritten. Took me a hot minute, but they got back to me. I even connected with people I haven't talked to in a long time, like yourself. It was kind of cool. It's like, oh hey, but that's kind of how you do it. It's just by asking permission and giving things away for free, little tidbits, and that's how you'll grow your email subscriber list to send them free stuff, which is pretty cool. Connecting to your books.
That's a pretty hot tip. I love this. I'll read. And I got on this little snippet of a book, gave him my email, and you would get chapters or something
Hmm.
every so often when you'd finish a portion. And I
Yeah.
I think I was on it for like 3 weeks. I've never ever done that before. Before and again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how they do it. It's kind of cool. So it's a part of that permission thing because social media is very in your face. Like, okay,
Yeah.
here's all this stuff and you're just seeing it on your, roll there versus you get it sent to you. You obviously want or are interested in something of this person or company's product. So maybe there's something else you want too.
Hmm.
So people are less likely to unsubscribe to something versus just scrolling past social media posts. I mean, I don't even go on social media much anymore. There's just too much stuff. But I get an email and I find myself stopping. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Click on it and maybe I'll follow the link, maybe I won't, but at least I stopped, gave it a second thought
Yeah.
before I dismissed it to something else. Maybe it piqued my interest later. Maybe it didn't, but you continually are opening that communication and you leave it to the subscriber to decide whether or not they want to stick around or not. So giving things away like I do monthly for short stories every month, I pop a new short story to them every month, and it keeps me writing and it keeps me connected. And I ask questions to them if they want to connect with me back. So it's really cool. I've gotten actually more discussions with people in the last few months with the newsletter than I have ever done on social media before. So it's been pretty neat. Yeah, good
So you just
stuff.
said something, it keeps you writing. How does that work?
Oh God. Yeah. So I want to carve it out. Like I've been one of those guys who is like, I'm gonna do it every day. I'm gonna have a word quota and everything. And in the beginning, for like the first couple of days, even up to like a week, I'm pretty good. I've made it a couple months before. But then it's just with work and time. I get home and I'm exhausted. I mean, I used to work on the boats and would do 12-hour days, on back shifts, graveyard swing shift, have young kids. The boys were what 5 and 3 when I first started writing with the kids, and so they're very demanding. And then trying to have a relationship with my wife because I would like to still see her and be a part of it's hard to carve it out. So what I've kind of done is when inspiration strikes, I try to write down whatever I can.
Mhm.
And then, of course, the podcasts have taken time out of my time to do it. It's more brain space. I just am thinking all the time, and if I don't have the brain space, I have a harder time writing. I'm just super. You've been there, burnt out, tired, family's busy. Everything's just going at once. You can't. The room needs to stop before you can take a step. So I'm hoping I can do that. So it's been kind of hard. My writing has been slowing down a little bit. During breaks, I find I get the motivation again. So maybe I'll start back up my schedule of 500 words a day or something like that. But mostly it was I'm inspired, I'm going to go write, and I seem to do my best work that way when I'm inspired. And I might work for 20 minutes, I might work for 2 hours, but I find if I'm pushing it too hard, if it becomes almost a chore, I don't do it, and the stuff's not as good. So for me, it's kind of like a yes to both. I fly by the seat of my pants, and I will try to schedule it out if I can. Just that's just kind of how it is with a young family and life being what it is. So very busy. So kind of a roundabout way of saying yes to both.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it just makes sense. My daughter is an artist,
Oh yeah.
friend who's an artist, and he refuses. He won't do anything when he doesn't want to. He goes like, I can't. It becomes a chore. So when you said that, it totally makes sense.
Yeah, it's so hard. Like, I thought I was going to be the guy who could write all these books plus do all these podcasts and have family life and work and do all this. But you can for a little bit. But I have found especially with my new position, I say new position, I've had the position for 3.5 years now, as an instructor. There's not a lot of like wiggle room in the brain. I used to have a lot of, I would say, downtime thought process wise, because when the job I used to do was a lot of standing watch, and it was a lot of doing things I've done hundreds of times before, very physical, which was good for me. But it wasn't terribly complicated. It was important, but not complicated. Especially we've done it for several years. It becomes very menial. My mind was able to wander. I had a notebook on me constantly. We weren't allowed phones on the boats. You're not allowed phones. So you have your notepad like, the 1960s. Ah, okay, write a note down, and it worked out great. And so I'd come home and transcribe the notes, and then that would make me sit down and write. But with the job I'm always on, thinking, answering questions, talking to people, I just don't have the brain space. So this hopefully with taking a step back from doing things like the podcast, I can open my brain space again and start writing some more. So it's frustrating, but yeah, I'm excited to get back to it.
You will find time. I
Yeah,
know exactly what you're talking about when you have
yeah,
all these things you're juggling and
yeah,
family that you need to take care of
yeah,
in multiple different ways, time, mental space,
yeah.
oh, and then the work. So yeah,
Hmm.
I'm actually
Yeah,
excited for you. I think it's gonna
yeah.
be great to take a break from the podcast and do that.
Thank you. Yeah,
Oh
I'm
gosh.
excited. I'm excited. It's gonna be fun to just focus on writing and then working with my sister. We're gonna do one every like month or so, and that's
Mhm.
super easy. That's not a lot of brain space. That's just her and I BSing and talking about the book we just read. And so it's a lot of fun, and we can scheduling wise, it's super flexible. A lot more flexible than interviewing. A lot more flexible than interviewing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what do your kids think about, you writing and all that you're doing and reading books? Are they
Uh,
interested in dad and dad's book?
uh, not necessarily in my book per se. They're like, oh yeah, that's a cool cover, and they, go about their business. I have read. What's funny is I actually include the boys in my audiobook for my novella that I actually have uploaded on YouTube right now, and so I included them both. There was a character who was a young boy about 10 and a young boy of about 5 or 6, and so my older boy voiced the older kid, and my younger boy voiced the younger kid. So that was kind of cool. Got to introduce them, and as I'm reading the story, they're like, "What happens next?" I'm like, "Oh, now you're interested. Interesting." So it's kind of funny. They think it's really cool. They tell it's like, "Oh, Dad's been a writer since I've been born," so it's like it's nothing new to them.
Mhm.
As they've gotten older, they realize, "Oh, most dads aren't writing books," so they're starting to kind of see like this is kind of cool. This is pretty neat. My younger boy, he's really taking it up and very interested in the process of doing it or in doing his own. My older one, he's very engineer-like. He wants to be an engineer when he gets older.
Mhm.
He likes to know how things are done. So he wants to know the process of actually publishing something himself, where my younger one wants to do the creative work and get it published. So him and I are even writing our own book with each other, which is kind of cool.
Oh, how special.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah. So he and I wrote like he did a little outline, and as we're doing it, he's telling me what to write, and I'll help him kind of flow it nice. So we've gotten through like a chapter or two. It's gonna be something short and fun. So when we have time, that's something else that, taking a step back from things, I can connect with the boys and go
Mhm.
do stuff with them, which is what really is important at this age. As you know, as a parent, you want to take time with them while they're young and they are liking you still.
And
Uh,
impressionable
what's that?
and impressionable.
And impressionable, yeah. So that and it's showing them that it's a lot of work, but if you love something enough, it is worth it. So, and my younger boy just makes comic books like left and right, and his drawing is starting to become wildly good for how old he is. So I'm impressed with his interest. So they think it's really interesting, and they're starting to get into it a little more. But yeah, it's like, oh yeah, Dad's been doing this forever. It's not anything new, but they do ask questions about it and are interested. So they're definitely it is, I think it is making an impact on them for the future too.
Oh yeah, which is
Yeah.
a little family business.
Yeah. That'd be really cool, actually. That'd be really cool. I'm like, Luke,
Yeah.
yeah, he said he's wanted to draw pictures for children's books or something. I'm like, yeah, we got this. That'd be great. So we'll
And
see
you
what
got the
happens.
process. They don't got to go anywhere else.
No, they can just come to me and Dad, I'll tell them. I'll tell them what to do. I'll tell them what not to do because there's a lot of scammers out there messing with people's stuff. So it's like, nope, you just do it yourself with me and I'll make sure you don't get messed over, screwed over. So it's there's a lot of things to look out for. And I'm glad I can kind of guide them in the right direction. So it's pretty neat. Yeah.
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 Where does history come in?
Oh God, I loved history since I was little. I mean, gosh, it really struck me in I would say middle school, junior high. I had a teacher, Miss Coons, who was a bit strict, and no one really liked her. But for some reason, she loved me to death. And I asked a lot of questions. We did talk World War II. I loved World War II. Thought it was just fascinating. She was an excellent storyteller. Oh my God, this woman could hold a room. She should have been in some kind of like theater or something. Just wonderfully. She just made it come alive for us. So that, and then I've always been interested in Roman, Greek history, ancient history, medieval history, everything there. And then my books are you've got some mythology kind of thrown in there with it. And so it kind of all tied together from various just books I've read, documentaries I've watched, people who are equally interested in history classes I've taken. So it's always been a part of my growing up. I've always want to know, well, why is it the way we do things now? What happened to make it like this? And go down the origin rabbit hole, like, oh, that's how we figured this out, which led to this. I love seeing that kind of train and it's just so fun to know that. And then people have definitely, when I started working the yard, people found out that I used to be a teacher, and they're like, "Oh, I used to teach in public school as well." So they're like, "Oh," and start asking me questions about just random stuff. I'm like, "I'm not Google. Like, stop asking me." Like, I had a guy ask me, What's that African tribe that talks in clicks?" I'm like, "Why are you asking me this?" "Well, you're a teacher. You know everything." I'm like, "Dude, I taught second grade. I'm not Google." And he just kind of laughed. I'm just like, so people just assume that I know a lot, which I mean, I guess I do,
I
but
do.
yeah, I guess. But it's just so funny. And yeah, history has always been something I've loved talking about. The what ifs and the origins are always fascinating to me. So it kind of translated to the books.
I can tell you're a good storyteller.
Oh, thank
And the
you.
way you talk about things that come alive when you
Mhm.
tell a story or speak about it, that comes alive. So
Oh,
that's a pretty cool gift.
thank you. Thank you. I've been blessed with having the time in working as an instructor, being able to hone my speaking skills. So before it was not as eloquently as eloquent as I used to speak, and I'm more animated when I'm comfortable. And then as time's gone on, being comfortable in front of groups of 100 and 150 people, you're like, yeah, it's whatever. You just kind of your personality bleeds through and it just becomes a part of it. So naturally I'm very animated. I love to talk, so it
Well, wait,
thankfully
talk
works
more
out.
about what is this safety submarine? What is what you do and
Hmm.
what are you speaking on? How did you, because
Oh
that's not
God,
a
so
comfortable thing
much.
ever.
What's that?
That's not a comfortable thing ever. You either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
I don't believe that people say, oh, it gets easy. You get more comfortable. It That doesn't work for everyone.
You're right. That totally is 100% true. There is a lady in my office, very nice gal, but you put her in front of really any group of people, she becomes a statue. She's just very stiff, almost robotic talking, very nice, incredibly intelligent, but she's just not good in front of people. And I remember when I was like a freshman in high school, we had some history presentation to give, and of course I'm sweating bullets. I'm so nervous. Public speaking was not something I wanted to do ever. Like, no, put me in a field somewhere, let me test stuff, let me go do, do anything else other than be in front of people. And so I get in front of this podium and start talking about, I don't remember what the topic was, to be completely honest with you. And the my teacher goes, Ryan, were you nervous? I said, yes, incredibly. She goes, it doesn't show. I'm like, it doesn't show? She goes, no, no, I can't tell. I couldn't tell you were nervous. I'm like, huh, that's kind of cool. And so as time goes on and you do it more often, you do tend to calm down. I generally still feel some anxiety prior to starting, but that's almost it's almost gone too. I just kind of stand up and walk in and start. And to answer your other question, how do you make it, easy or interesting? Is I love to tell stories, to make things like that are really stupid and boring. I say stupid. Safety's not stupid, but boring. Very dull process. Process is very boring. How do I make this interesting, or at least how do I make this listen to the process? And I usually start with the why. Okay, why are we here? Why are we talking about things like a respirator? Why are we talking about things like asbestos or fall protection, like gear? Why is that important? Well, it's important because this person that during this year in this location fell to his death and he's no longer with us. Like stuff like that, like
You
jarring
catch
stuff
them.
like that. Yeah, you catch like, oh crap, like yeah, this happened to this populace and now they're all sick with cancer. It's like, I mean, so many stories like this, and you can hook them in like that. They're like, oh, maybe I need to pay attention to this. Like, and you can see this, here at work too, if you don't pay attention and you're not careful. So trying to connect with the people and being personable, telling stories, asking them for stories. Because a lot of the times, especially the guys I talk to who've been in the Navy 20 years,
Yeah.
who've been in working in various industries across the world, across the United States, they have stories which are by and large way more interesting than the stuff I saw while I was working on the boats as a worker. So, and I use those, I steal those, and I will use those as, I say fodder, I'll use this as ammunition to get people to pay attention when I'm teaching. So it's having that energy, and it's exhausting. Don't get me wrong. It's very tiresome. Some days I don't feel like doing it, but you just kind of put out tired out of your mind and you just talk and hope you're connecting with somebody. If I'm connecting with a couple people, great. Not the whole audience, that's just natural, but you just try to be engaging as much as you can. So that's the key, is be engaging.
Are you able to say what you teach on, what safety
Oh
is
yeah,
you're doing, what your job is?
absolutely. Yeah. So I don't have anything classified I teach, which is probably for the better, because I've my
Probably
grandmother
right
told me I have
about
a
it.
gift of gab. What's that?
You're
You're
probably
probably
right
right.
about it.
Yeah, I
I
have to
will
get
say that.
permission probably.
Sorry.
No, I probably have to get permission. No, no, it's safety. It's the safety programs. You get them anywhere, bases, companies, everything like that. So I am qualified to teach fall protection. That's like actually wearing the harnesses and everything like that. I'm currently not the lead on that one. That's my other coworker who's been doing that for 3.5 years. But I've been leading electrical safety. I was an electrician, so that helps. Lockout, tagout. So if you take a lock and you isolate something, you're protecting yourself from possibly it re-energizing if you're working inside of electrical cabinet or something with hydraulics or anything that has the possibility of inadvertently releasing energy on someone and killing them, or harming them. So that kind of, so lockout, tag out, lockout tags plus for some people who might know from the industry. What else am I? We teach asbestos, on the abatement of asbestos. We teach on fire protection, fire watch, fire protection, and then we also teach basically generic safety with confined spaces, which is a huge one for us. In safety, you have things called high hazard program. We have a few of those. We teach all those. And then you have, I don't call them low hazard because they're still hazardous. They're just proactive programs we teach to, like toxic metals, MMV, man-made vitreous fibers, which is talking about fiberglasses and particulates and such like that. So and we have 20-ish programs we teach to. So hearing conservation, that kind of stuff. So a lot of very basic things, but it does get into the minutia a bit with technical jargon, as well, that people need to know about with general safety, working on the boats and with shoreside facilities.
So
So,
that's just for everyone in the vicinity that's working there, not just
mhm.
Navy, not just.
Yeah, we do teach. So we have the cool thing about where I work alongside sailors and civilians. So we do have so active duty, they're on the boats, and then shore duty, they're three-ish years off the boats doing something else, like working in a shop, or we've got some awesome guys and gals working with us in the safety office too, which is really cool. Working alongside teaching with them, it's super neat to hear what their experiences are firsthand versus hearing it from like my father-in-law who's on the boats when he was, in the 80s and
Yeah.
90s, early 2000s. Things have changed, not a lot, but things have changed technology wise. It's just kind of cool to hear that. So, yeah, kind of cool.
It's very cool.
It's super neat. I remember the first time I actually saw a boat out of water, and it was, yeah, because you have to pull them into the dry dock to work on the
So
exterior.
crazy.
And yeah, it is. I was actually qualified to bring the boats in and do all that work. So that was it was called a pump room. And you go through oral boards and tests and drawings, and you have to know the system inside and out, and to allow yourself to bring the thing in. Very cool. And I remember coming into and seeing the boat for the first time out of water, just how big these things are.
Massive.
And it was almost like like in a movie. I described it in a movie, kind of like when they reveal something really cool. You have like the angels singing like the big trumpets horn, like whoa, I well, that's so amazing. It was just, I
Yeah.
remember that for some reason, it went off in my head. And like, that's the creative in me doing weird stuff like that. But after that, you kind of, it sounds weird. You kind of get desensitized to it. Like, it's just a
Oh,
normal Tuesday. It's just a normal Tuesday.
yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some cool stuff, but probably can't talk about it. But the boats themselves are just so cool. And man, yeah, I can't believe I've been there for 10 years now almost. In August, it'll be 10 years.
That's a cool job.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. You get to see a lot of cool stuff and meet with a lot of cool people, a lot of hardworking folks,
Yeah.
and yeah, a lot of things that as you grow and find and meet more people and see the process, you get to see just what it takes to maintain these huge assets for our Navy and our safety of the fleet. So it's really cool to see that. It is a process. It is a giant process. So it's kind of cool to be a part of something like that, even if it's, teaching about wearing respirators or electrical safety. It's pretty cool to be a part of.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it is.
Good stuff. Yeah. Good times.
For someone who may want to be an author,
Hmm.
like, and they're not believing they can do it. I mean,
No.
you felt that. And what would you say to someone to encourage them to keep writing?
I mean, really, if you love doing it, you're gonna do it. Like that's the big one. If it brings you joy and you love doing it, it's an outlet. Knock it out of the park. Most of the time, writers are gonna write. Just plain and simple. Writers are going to write. Now, the big leap is sharing the writing. That's the hard part. I remember uh, releasing the book, and I had so much anxiety about releasing the book. Like, oh my God, it's going to be it's a total disaster. People are going to say it's terrible. That kind of stuff in your head. And I'll tell you right now, just release it. Like, do your best, obviously, to make it a good product. Talk to people you trust. Even if they want to talk to me about stuff, I'm happy to point them in the right direction because people can be misleading. Just trust yourself that you're doing the job, you're doing right by you to get the book out, get it out there. The worst case scenario is it's not as great. You can pull it back and fix it. That's a beautiful part of it, writing. So find a process, find people you trust. Honestly, if you can get a coach or someone who's willing to coach you,
Mhm.
do it, especially if you're an indie author, because you're doing everything yourself. If you're able to do the agent thing, get a publisher, cool. They'll handle a lot of those decision makings, but just trust yourself, take the leap. It's going to be scary, but do it. Like just if you need some encouragement, let me know and I'll encourage you right off the cliff. So it's just keep writing and then trust yourself. That's what I would say.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
All right,
thank you.
share something with us that's made an impact
Oh,
in your life.
geez. It's made an impact. I would say, honestly, travel. Travel if you can. Travel. Try to meet people that you wouldn't normally meet. Whether it be, even if traveling's expensive, so if you can even just go to the next town over, talk to people, and be mindful of those interactions. Because if They make great writing, I'll tell you that right now. I've had many interactions with people I would never talk to unless I had worked in the place I was working at or traveled to the places I was traveling at. Be okay with getting yourself uncomfortable because that seems to be the way to grow. Again, I was not one who wanted to be in front of people, and now I'm doing it every single day, and it is, it can be very profitable. It can be very fulfilling. So do things that are kind of make you scared and meet people and travel if you can. I traveled I was able to travel to Europe when I was a 16-year-old. They had an awesome opportunity for my school. I went to Bremerton High School, and they had an opportunity for like $1,200 to go to Italy for 10 days. Like that's cheap. This is now, mind you, early, what, this is 2005-ish, 3-ish, 4, whatever. I think 2005. So pretty inexpensive compared to how much it is able to go to Italy and just seeing the world and experiencing a different culture and how ancient the world is and talking to people I never would have talked to before, learning a language, different language. I was learning Italian at the time. So super fun. I don't know it anymore, but knowing enough to get by, where the bathroom is and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Just get out there and be a little uncomfortable with yourself, and you'll find that that gives you inspiration and drive to do the things you love to do and hopefully go visit more places.
That is so great. Talking to people is really the greatest. I love meeting people though. That's awesome.
I do too. That was the benefit of the podcast. I loved meeting people and networking. And again, I hope I can bring it back to life again when things kind of slow down. But that was huge. It was so fun to meet people from everywhere, and just getting to know them for a couple hours. It was super fun. Yeah. I did a formula. Basically, per episode, take 4 hours of work, planning, recording, editing, uploading, and marketing. So that was 4 hours for me. Every time, every episode was four, two. I would even go as far as to say 5 hours of work per episode. And that was even without the reading of the books. If I was reading books, you add another 10, 15 hours on there, just note taking and writing. So it is, if you're doing this, it's a lot,
Yeah.
it's a second job. It's a second job. So it's a lot of fun, but it is work. It is work. It's fulfilling, but it's work. It's crazy. Yeah, good time.
It was
Good
easier
stuff.
during COVID. We would go live every week,
Yeah.
no editing. And we
Oh
just
yeah.
put it up on Facebook every week.
Yeah.
That was
Perfect.
awesome.
Yeah, perfect.
Maybe you'll think about that.
I mean, yeah. I think, you can
Live
still
on
do
YouTube,
that
no
too.
editing.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay. I thought about doing that too, just doing a live go for it. And
Yeah.
well, it was funny. I found I found this with a lot of writers I talked to. Like, is this going to be live? I'm like, no. We record prior, and then I edit everything. Oh, thank God. And they would just,
Really?
yeah, oh yeah, audibly gasp, like, oh, audibly relief. I'm like, really? Okay, sure. And they love because they don't have to be, proper. They're worried about their ums, and they're worried about just saying something dumb on live. And I try to tell them, don't worry about it. Just you're not seeing billions of people aren't watching, maybe a couple hundred, and people want to see you being authentic. So
Real, yeah.
yeah, they want to see you being authentic. And so if you screw up a little bit, my editing kind of relaxed. I wasn't taking out all the ums anymore. It's like ums just happen. Being weird happens. Just leave some stuff in to kind of add to the comedy of life. You know what I mean? So it's yeah, people want to see that authenticity. Uh, they just do. So you got to find what works for you, and
Yeah.
it'll change 30 times before next year. Just little stuff, obviously, but it'll change. So yeah, I'm glad you're getting back in the saddle. That's pretty cool though.
Yeah, thank you. I love
Okay.
all your advice. This is so super useful.
Well, thank you. My pleasure. Happy to
I need to know
share.
more about the book club.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So the book club is awesome. Where I'm re-releasing episodes to a by itself on its own platform for Top Shelf Book Club. It was embedded in the Mighty Books podcast forum, I would say, just because that's where I was posting everything. But now it's kind of by itself. It's trying to single out me as a author who's trying to find readers, whereas the Mighty Books podcast was more finding people who are writers and authors.
Mhm.
So different audience. So I kind of found that out many years later that I had to split that up. And that was one reason why I wasn't finding readers to me. So the Top Shelf Book Club was kind of a, I think it was, we're up to of a debate, my sister and I. We're not sure if it was her idea, my idea, or her boyfriend's idea, whether or not to start a book club. I think it might have just been kind of universal osmosis.
Yeah.
And we love talking to each other. We banter really well. She's 7 years younger than I am, so my baby sister.
Oh, that's fun.
Oh yeah, oh, yeah.
Like his
She's
age difference. That's really fun.
yeah, yeah. It's great. It's great. We want to add my younger brother, her older, my younger, the middle
Mhm.
baby, and he is the stir of the
Hot.
pot. Yes, so he might make a presentation eventually, and that one, oh my, we might go unhinged. It might go unhinged on those. So, but basically, the whole premise is we read a story. She's a huge reader. She is voracious reader. When I say she eats books, I think she told me she went through 16 books in a month. Yeah, just slamming out
Wow.
next. 2 days, 1,000 pages, done next. Just cranking them out.
Skinny Jim
Loves
Quick.
she can. She's very smart, very quick. Always has been. Oh, wait, don't tell her I said that. But anyway, it was just we were like, we want to do a project together. It'd be kind of fun. So how about a book club? We just put it up there, I put it on the podcast. She's like, I love that. That'd be so fun. So we read a book, we take notes, and then we come back together and we just start talking about. We really do like an entire like summary of the story.
Mhm.
We're trying to simplify it, making it a little more banter-esque than summary-esque. So she actually has her own book club that she runs with four other ladies or three other girls, and she wrote a form out on how to actually run the book club. And I think I'm like, we're gonna try it your way and see if we can make it a little more just fun.
Mhm.
So the whole premise was top shelf book club. Obviously means top shelf like of a bookcase, but top shelf. We're also including like top shelf liquor, top shelf booze. So we also, when we're trying to record this, we usually have a drink in our hand while we're talking. So it loosens up a little bit and we get a little mouthy with each other. It's fun. It's just good banter, really fun, and it's honestly it's a stress reliever for both of us. So we get to talk and BS for sometimes 2, 3 hours at a time, and
And this is
yeah,
already on YouTube. This is
yeah.
already
So these are on YouTube. I have 8 episodes out now on YouTube, and I'm slowly releasing them on Spotify, Audible, Apple Podcasts, all there, just because the program I use only will allow so much per month. So it's like, you know what? Slow roll this. That's totally fine. It actually works out better that way. I think it will. So, third episode just dropped May 1st, and we'll be releasing either the beginning of each month until we're caught up. So, probably mid to late summer. And then we'll be releasing our ninth episode probably beginning September, late mid August. So, just trying to do once a month releases. That's plenty of time for me to edit, us to read, and to meet. So plenty of time. We do it on the weekends, obviously, or in the evening when we're kids are hanging out. We're just talking. So it's just a fun way to kind of engage with my family and me as a reader. And it's fun while I can actually produce something. So then I can share it with my readers as well. Hopefully they can enjoy it. So we're doing reading Fourth Wing right now, by it's like Rebecca Yarrow. I think Rebecca Yarrow. I think that's what her name is. Yarrow is the last name,
kind of
and
book
it's
is
an excellent.
that?
What's that?
What kind of book is that?
The fantasy book. It's fantasy. So yeah, we do fiction. We have done historical fiction before. We've read some old stories like The Most Dangerous Game, The Lottery. Both are short stories. The Lottery was by Shirley Jackson. It's like 7 pages, really short. Other Oh yeah, yeah. And we'll just talk about that and how these are like some from like the early 1900s, like 1940s, 1950s. We've done some Agatha Christie, one Agatha Christie book, and we like doing the older ones because we look into the future going, well, what did that inspire? And so there's so many
Oh,
books. Yeah. So
cool.
when you listen to it, you'll hear us talking about stuff like that and like how this inspired each other. And hopefully, as we go, we're going to be talking more about what it did for us versus the story itself. I think that's more engaging.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So we're still kind of growing pains still. But you know what? It's fun. It's a way to relieve stress and read at the same time. So I'm really looking forward to diving back in. We haven't done an episode in, oh gosh, probably 6-ish months, 8 months.
Oh
So it's
no,
yeah, yeah,
it's
it's
time.
Yeah, it's time. So we're set to record next weekend. So that'll be exciting to just meet and talk for a couple hours on the weekend and drink a little bit and talk book. So I'm excited to do that again. It's really fun. So Top Shelf Book Club.
The fun stuff
Yeah, super
and
fun.
creative. That is
Hmm.
really cool. I bet you're going to inspire a lot of people. I mean, I'm
I
sounding
hope so.
interested, or it sounds interesting to me, and I'm not a
Yeah.
reader. I desperately want to be a reader.
Start small. Start small. My wife wasn't for the longest time, and then she started with novellas, really short ones. Like, I mean, we're talking 50 to 75, 100 pages, short story novellas. And she's like, I kind of like this. And then she found herself reading more and more. And now she'll get through two novels in a weekend. So yeah, she just it's that's how she decompresses
I buy them.
after. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I just bought the Matthew McConaughey book.
Oh, green lights.
Yeah.
Green. Yeah.
I mean, I
I
buy
kind of want to.
books.
Yeah, that's hilarious. That's
Cindy
hilarious.
Taylor, she talks
Hmm.
about bullying.
Yeah.
Dare to be great. Like, what is that?
Dare to be.
Brene,
Okay. I don't
Brene
know that one.
Brown.
I don't know that one. That I oh.
Dare to be
Oh.
like
The only thing I can think of is Dare to Be Stupid by Weird Al.
no, it's Brene Brown. She's a good speaker. That's how I found her. So I buy
Gotcha.
books.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got
Reading,
through
it
some of
takes
it.
time. Yeah. I'm glad you got through some of it. That's great. That's great. So I get it. It takes time. You have to sit down and dedicate, sit down time to read. And it's when you're busy.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends are like, I would read it, but I just don't read. And I don't I try not to get offended by that. It's like I'm not offended by it. It's if people who read it will either like it or not. And if you read it, great, that you took a chance. It's like it is more for me in sharing the story. Yes, I'd love people to read it. Obviously, that'd be amazing, but it's more the process of writing it and enjoying that time to write it and create it. That's where I feel the most alive with the writing, hobby or well, I can't call it a profession,
Art.
art and the writing medium. That's what I love it. I can sit down and write, and it'll be 6 hours later. Like, when the hell? What time? It's very rare for me to happen now, or more like an hour or two nowadays. It's
Mhm.
like, where'd the time go? Like, oh my God, it's 10:30. I gotta get the kids to bed. Holy, I started this 2 hours ago. I was only gonna write for 30 minutes, and it just when you get into that flow, it's so fun. It's like almost like something is controlling you while you're typing. It's really fun. And I can get that way with reading too. If you can find getting in with reading like that, you're never gonna stop. Yeah.
Yeah, I should have started when I was young.
It's never too late.
I'm
Never too late.
definitely going to give it a shot, though. I love the
Yeah.
way you describe that. And we all have to get back to some kind of fun like this.
That is what I'm trying to do. It's just trying to get back to more fun. We just came back from a vacation, my wife and I, and we were finally able to unplug and have fun. And it was like it's time to lean into fun. We work so hard. We're responsible for so much, and we need to lean into fun. And so doing that with reading, getting outside, it's becoming beautiful in Washington State. Like we're in the spring, it's gorgeous right now. I want to just go and play outside and try not to be in front of a computer anymore from work. And you know what I mean? And just when I have more fun, I tend to write more. It's
Yeah,
just, I know it's kind of funny. So when I don't try, it happens to do better. Very strange.
that's a
Yeah.
great message. Where'd you and your wife go?
We got to go to the Bahamas for 4 days.
Ooh,
So, yeah,
that's
it
nice.
was our first cruise ever. It was a family wedding. We got to see family from all up the East Coast. Her family's from the East Coast. So really neat I love her family. They're mostly Italian and very loud and boisterous. So dirty minds. I love it. So we just sarcasm for I can't even say days, for decades. I mean, these people just sarcasm is their language, and it fits me so well. I mean, military town. That's how you speak. So it was great fun. Got to relax. The kids were actually with my mother, so we got to relax for the first
Oh,
time
that's
without
nice.
kids. This is the first time we've gone away in 11 years. Yeah, for any more than a night or two. So it was very nice to just reconnect and like,
Mm.
oh my gosh, we can sit here and not be disrupted for, every 20 minutes.
Mm.
This is great. You want a drink? I'll have a drink. You want a nap? I want a nap. It just let's go take a walk. It was great. So nice to do that. You gotta do that, especially uh if you're in a relationship, take the time for you and your significant other.
Definitely, definitely. And it sounds like you have a lot of material too. You got material all around you.
Yeah,
From
oh
what
yeah. Stimulus everywhere. Stimulus everywhere. I'm trying to turn that off and it's so hard. My brain is it's like a beehive. I can't turn it off half the time. So yeah, it's not a thing.
Oh, how funny. Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much. Wait. Where can people find you? What's your
Oh,
website?
yeah, perfect. So my website is ryanmoliver.com. You can just Google Ryan M. Oliver. Ryan Oliver will pop up. You'll find, you can go on YouTube and find me at Ryan M. Author, Ryan M. Oliver. There's the top shelf and my Gargoyles Gift novella is there for free. Just they can listen to it. It's my audiobook, my first attempt at an audiobook. So I'll be putting together the Soldiers of Fire audiobook in the future, hopefully this year. That'd be really fun. And then on Facebook, I guess, and Instagram, you'll find author Ryan M. Oliver or Mighty Books Podcast and more. It's still got that name. It might change here in the near future. And yeah, so you can, if you ever have any questions about the writing or authorship publishing, you can email me at ryanm.oliver@yahoo.com, and I'm happy to coach you in the right direction. I love helping people out, push them to where they want to go.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
And thank you so much. And thank you for connecting.
Yes, thank you for having me on. This has been very nice. It's a
I
nice,
love it.
yeah, thank you so much. And I wish you great luck with the show. I think this is a cool, it's just podcasting is a lot of fun. Interviewing is a lot of fun. It really is.
Yeah.
So excited
Well,
for you.
and the people I know are really cool. You guys, so Mary was my kickoff
Yeah,
a
I
year
saw.
ago. Yeah. I'm lucky enough to I have Mary's skill, but I don't do the follow-up like her. She's so great with the follow-up.
She is. She's really good with the follow-up. The follow-up is I think they said the money is in the follow-up, the dollars in the follow-up, the
Time.
follow-up is important. Yeah, follow-up is important. Just checking on people. And I think I'm not sure how she does it. If it's like puts reminders in or something, or just has a list of follow-up every month, and then I don't know how she does it, but it can get overwhelming with the amount of people you know.
Yeah.
I
I
my
liked Mary with connecting, but I that's why I'm going to put them all out here.
Yeah, totally put them out here. And the crazy part is when I first started, I was worried about not having enough guests. But that was because when I first started, I didn't know. I had no idea. And yeah, I had a list a mile long of people who wanted to be on the show. It was insane. I actually had so many, I was booked for a year at one point. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then after that, people came to me. And it was just I would put it out online. Hey, I'm doing a
Yeah.
show. If you're interested in if you do XYZ, in my opinion, in my thing, if you have written a book, if you're an author of something and you want to talk about it, come on the show. All of a sudden I'd have 10, 15 DMs and emails, and it got insane. So having a booking calendar, if you don't already have one, get a booking calendar for them to automatically sign up is going to save you huge amount of headaches and confusion because email black hole, as you know, is
Yes.
a real thing. I would lose people's emails like, "Hey, are we supposed to do this?" Like, what? To go and find things. It was a nightmare. When I finally implemented a booking calendar on my website, things got a lot smoother, a lot smoother.
Oh, God.
Problem was though, then you need to put a limit on it because it just started going all the way till the middle of what was it the end of this year, and so it got to the point where like I just can't do it anymore. So I had to slow down. So it's if ever it pops back up, I've got about 30, 40 people I got to contact. Go, let's do it now. It's a lot. People will find you. Um, Something else actually, I got contacted by several PR agencies. I had, yeah. Black Chateau is one of them. PR by the Book is another one. A couple of solo agents contacted me, and they're like, "I have dozens of authors. Can I send them to you?"
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, getting their name out.
yeah,
I know,
yeah,
I get that. I have
yeah,
podcasts that I send people to all the time just to help my friends. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And that's something. Yeah, that's another thing too. So it's wild. So it can get kind of overwhelming. It's pretty nuts. It's pretty nuts. A lot of good stuff. A lot of opportunity. A lot of opportunity. Yeah,
Oh, my connecting business, because what I
yeah,
do one-on-one for people is insanely weird.
yeah.
I connect people one-on-one.
There you go.
Or I go into situations and make connections and then make the introduction.
Right. That's funny because that's kind of what I was hoping that the podcast would do for me is do this in the book full time. It just was not panning. And so it's like the time and numbers and the the payoff was the networking was amazing.
Mhm.
The resources I learned were amazing. I wouldn't know as much as I do if I didn't had not talked to these people, 100 and something people. But the downside, and I learned a technical skill. I'm doing my own audiobooks now. So it's like, shoot, and you know a lot, which is super cool. And you get to just hear from people from all over the world. That's just awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but the downside is, as a creative person whose purpose is to write, it kind of leached away time and energy I had to write. So my writing went from several hours a day to zero in months. So just because of scatterbrain, like I couldn't think straight. Like to sit down and write was pulling teeth. Not
Yeah.
because I didn't want to, because I didn't have the brain space. I need that downtime to cultivate something. So if I ever stop writing, which I probably will never do, but I probably will, if I start it back up, it's going to be maybe once every 2 weeks, maybe even slower than that, so I can maintain my mental acuity and can and write more stories. 'Cause that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. Hope maybe coach eventually one day. That'd be fun.
Oh, you
So
should definitely do that. You
yeah,
should
that'd be
definitely
fun.
already be a mentor.
I learned so much to be an author, that I learned so much to be a podcaster, and I've learned so much to be an instructor. And I'm like, now to shift gears to coach. It's like, yeah, there you go. I should start just physical habits, working out,
Yeah.
sleeping well. That's also something I'm trying to improve upon because I feel better when I do that. I'm a lot better I'm there for the family, myself, the writing, everything else when I'm physically able to show up. I would love to coach because I mean, I mentor, I teach already. So it's not a hard shift. I just got to do it.
Yeah.
Hear anyone wants to write a book, send them my way. So maybe we can figure something out. I was already starting actually. A sailor who was in our office was looking at writing a book, and it was hilarious because he had been stagnant for like 3 years. He's like, I haven't written anything in 3 years. I'm like, I want to read what you got. He's like, seriously? I'm like, yeah. Oh, I'm having a problem with XYZ. And so I start brainstorming with him, and he's like, oh my God, I have an idea. I'm like, all right, cool, go do it. He comes back because I have more ideas, but I need you to help brainstorm with me. And we did. He goes, just brainstorming with you for 20, 30 minutes. I was able to write 3 chapters. I'm like, sweet. Yeah, it's nuts.
That's your
So
skill.
brainwashing is my skill. That too. No, brainstorming is something that's like my favorite part of the entire process of brainstorming because anything's possible when you brainstorm. Anything's possible when you brainstorm. And then you actually get down to the outlining and you go, okay, now I got structure. I got to maintain this a little bit. But brainstorming is so fun, and people's eyes light up when you start talking about their story and you get into it. Oh my God, it's so cool. That's what I think I probably should be going into more than podcasting,
Yeah.
just writing and coaching. I think it'll be very fulfilling or something. I don't know, down the way, but Zoom is really the way to meet people these
Yeah.
days and connect and maintain. So anytime you want to connect, love to.
Oh, very
So
cool.
yeah,
Maybe after I read a book,
yeah, there you go.
I'll talk
Yeah,
to you and your sister.
hell yeah. We'll have a special guest on.
Yes.
You got to bring a drink though. You got to bring a drink though. For other bad habits, we're not about that. It's just her and I enjoy a drink from time to time, so it's just how it goes. And again, it's all audio too, so no one's gonna see you, so it's okay.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I know. I know. You can have water. It's all right. You can cheat. It's all right. No big deal.
Oh my
Cool.
God. That's awesome.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding.
Well, thank
Man,
you so much for doing this.
yeah, it's getting a little dark. I gotta kind of turn that light on. Hopefully it's not too dark for the editing. The sunset.
It's perfect. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
I'm excited for it. This is really cool.